That bitch so pretty, got a mean girl just like Lindsay. Said she fucking with me, making drives across the city. Swear this shit can get too litty. Pushing be like Diddy, you ain't B-boy, who you kidding? At the top, I see you there. In LA, I see you there. At in space, I see you there. Texas State, I see you there. I know y'all go crazy, y'all be turning up in the square. Take another pill and we can turn up just by anywhere. Hit you in and say yeah, just to see if there's a feelings there.
What's going on, 3-Man Weave family? It's your boys. We back at it again. We going on episode 7, CJ?
Yes, sir. Episode 7.
All right, cool. Yeah, no. So I'm doing an intro for today. I'm the main host. I'm ZD, and then this is the co-host CJ, and we back at it again with 3-Man Weave. Man, we're on episode 7, and the last few episodes we've been doing like position tiers, and that's gonna be kind of the main piece, the main topic for today later in the pod. But CJ, how you doing, man? You ready to talk some hoops?
Of course, bro. Yeah, doing great, bro. Man. Thanks for asking. It's actually Monday, so we just recorded a couple days ago, so we really have only the games from Sunday to talk about, which there are some pretty good games, honestly. So we definitely have some stuff to talk about, and then like you said, we have the small forward tier list that I'll ask you, see where you place all the players, and then I also have just a couple of things that I've been seeing on Twitter. I've been trying to be mindful of whatever I see on there, and I'm like, I think that would be a good segment or just something to bring up so we could chop it up about on the pod. So no, yeah, man, I'm doing good. Starting the week off right, talking about hoops with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure, bro. I've been for you guys who don't know, like off camera, me and Los, we got into it, Saturday night, one-on-one. So
how'd that go?
I'm getting back into like actually hooping, so I was gonna ask you. We definitely gonna have to run some ones, or maybe
for sure.
Do like the court.
Yeah,
it's definitely a good day for sure talking about hoops. But yeah, man, I've been good, just chilling, working, grinding with you, obviously.
Of course.
And yeah, man, I'm excited to talk about yesterday's games. We got some interesting topics today.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I guess just going straight into it, bro. Obviously, probably the best game out of the night, I probably would say, was the Timberwolves versus Celtics.
Yes.
How would you say?
It was at 2:30, bro. So that's why I couldn't really. Yeah, it was at like 2:30.
Yeah. Were you able to watch that game or?
Nah, but I saw the highlights. I mean, hey, they look. The Celtics look like a juggernaut still. I mean, what more is there really to say? I think it's more. I also had that in my notes. Like Timberwolves kind of look out of sorts at times. There was also some, I don't know if you saw, but recently, Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert had gotten into it.
I did see that.
He didn't hit him on it. It was against the Raptors, but I think it was Saturday night.
Yeah.
They were playing the Raptors, bro, and I guess Rudy Gobert had Scotty B on a seal,
right?
And Julius Randle said nah, get out the way or whatever, because he's trying to get to a bucket, whatever the case may be. But to me, it was more about the Timberwolves than anything, man. They just, they did do a very good job of actually playing defense. If you guys seen the score, it was 105-107, if I'm not mistaken. So obviously a very good defensive game. But yeah, they just could not last the Celtics, man. And that's always kind of been the Timberwolves' Achilles heel is it seems to me like their team is built again for the Western Conference semifinals or the conference finals, and it's not built to really beat those finals teams that they need to really beat. So yeah, man, I didn't watch too much of the game, but I saw enough highlights to see what was going on. But
yeah, I was about to say I didn't really watch the game either. I was just keeping up with the score, and I saw that they were down by 20 at one point, I believe, and they ended up coming back. I'm looking at the box score right now, and it says, from what I'm, taking from the points per quarter and stuff, Boston's only scored 23 points in the fourth, and the Timberwolves scored 32. And that's kind of where, and that's when the game started getting a little more interesting, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like you asked me that question about the Timberwolves, right? If they would be able to figure stuff out. From what it's looking like, bro, I don't know, man. It just seems like there's not a lot of continuity with the team right now, I mean, Ant is gonna be your main source of offense, which he scored 28. Julius Randle did all right, 7 for 15 with 23, minus 10 though for the game.
Yeah.
It's just like one of those things,
Are you a box minus? Are you a box minus warrior, bro? Like you box plus minus warrior, bro? Like yeah, like people be looking at that, they're like, oh, Julius. I mean, if you watch, bro, they all played pretty well. Like, I mean, the minus 10 again. The reason they're 8-8 or whatever is because they can't play defense. I think they were first last year in the NBA, and now they're like 15th. So obviously, you're gonna start having some deficiencies whenever you go down that far.
Yeah.
But I think it'll just be interesting to see how the chemistry kind of plays out, man. Like, I mean, what do you think about that? Like, do you think, they should kind of be a little sketched out that their star players are already arguing, 20 games into the season, or do you think they'll kind of get it figured out as the season goes along?
I think it's something that they shouldn't look past. You know what I mean? I feel like something they should definitely like take into consideration. Like, all right, what's going on here? Like, if you have a big man in the paint sealing off a smaller guard or forward, it's like, why not pass it to him? Like obviously you might be trying to get your own, but like, what's the easier bucket at this point? Because it seems like with them, they can't really generate a lot of offense. It's either Ant or the one game Julius Randle decides to go off out of the week. That's what it kind of seems like,
Yeah.
So I definitely, I feel like as well, like DiVincenzo hasn't really been playing up to the level they thought he was going to be going into this season off of like, how he played with the Knicks last year. But I don't know. It is super early into the season, but I mean they're at like the middle of the pack right now in the West. So like not something where it's like, oh, we need to blow the ship up or nothing, but definitely something where we need to like take a step back and like see what's really going on here.
I mean, I love my guy Dante DiVincenzo, but like I think he's kind of, again, he was a little overrated. Like I don't really know what they thought getting Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo would really do. Like I didn't think, honestly, at the beginning of the season, I always thought that move was a little bit questionable. Like I didn't really see how that's gonna improve and make the Timberwolves a finals team per se.
Yeah,
so,
no, I agree. I feel like he was good in his role with the Knicks.
Right.
He just did what he had to do, played good defense, hit big shots when he needed to. But
exactly. Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at these other games. The other game.
I could talk about the that I had on.
Yeah, for sure.
I watched through. I was watching through the Mavericks and the Heat, bro.
Yeah.
That game was crazy, and if you guys didn't know, that game went into OT.
Yes.
It went right down to the wire. Obviously, the Heat, shout out Los, like that's the team he'd be liking. And I was wearing the Dallas shirt the other night.
You were.
So like I like Dallas a little bit for sure, but just watching Kyrie, obviously, and bro, that's not even the main story though. Like if you're watching the game, obviously shout out you if you got league pass, but Najee Marshall, bro, he's their little X factor, man. He's playing great. Yeah. Like the minutes that they're giving him right now with Luka out. That's also another thing too, is Luka is hurt right now. He's been hurt for almost like 2 weeks, I want to say.
Yeah. Ever since they played the Thunder. So yeah, like going on like a week and a half or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. But obviously Kyrie is gonna be Kyrie. Not really watching the game for that. Honestly, like Lively, same thing.
Right.
He's catching lobs, he's getting rebounds, but Jimmy Butler and Najee Marshall, bro. I mean, Jimmy Butler. The thing is, it's funny, bro. Like we could talk about Jimmy for a little bit, but Jimmy, like to me, just seems like an effort type of player. Like it's kind of on or off. He can seem like he can just turn it on, and he really turned it on for that game. And it was interesting because I was like, Jimmy Butler probably hasn't even been, the craziest player on the Heat this year. It's definitely been probably Tyler Hero, but just watching that game, it reminded me why Jimmy Butler's so, it's so like, I guess you could say controversial and just he's subject to a lot of hate because people don't really like the fact that he can turn on and off his engine.
Right.
Watching him go and put up 35, it was kind of like a reminder like, oh, here's Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, that's what Jimmy does,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, on that topic, like, how do you feel about that? Like, do you, like, he kind of coasts through the season and then come playoff time?
He's made that like pretty, like I would be a little bit less like keen to that if he hasn't made it as public as he had. Like he's been saying that for years. He's like, oh, I'm kind of just coasting through the regular season, blah blah blah. In my opinion, I don't necessarily agree with like that mentality, but at the end of the day, he's made it clear kind of like what he thinks on how the regular season should go, and if the Heat are about that, then by all means. And honestly, the Heat also seem like that type of team as well. That's why it's like a perfect fit for Jimmy Butler. Is like the Heat, the way that they're ran, they're kind of like, you know, we're not really trying to beat the Celtics on a Wednesday night. We'd rather go to the playoffs and whatever, past the All-Star break in March and later June, whatever, and try to beat these guys there. So I can see the mentality and why he has that mentality, especially being at the age that he's at. But I don't necessarily agree with it per se. But I respect it because he's made it pretty clear that like he's coasting through the season, bro.
I was about to say too, and I feel like a lot of players attempt to do that, but they are never successful. You know what I mean? At least you could say. I mean, obviously Braun is, and then I guess Jimmy. You know what I mean? They both made it to the finals, and they have coasted through like the regular season, and come playoff time is when they really turn it up. Like, I feel like people have tried to attempt to do that, like. AD even, you know what I mean? There's a season where he kind of like took it easy during the regular season, and then come playoff time, he still got hurt. So it's kind of, you know what I mean? Like not everyone could do that, but just the fact that he kind of has already proven to us that he can make it to a conference finals off of coasting through his season. It is impressive in a sense, but it does suck as a fan because like you said, it's making it harder. I feel like it's more pressure on like the front office. Because it's like if you know that your player can do that or is going to do that, and it's going to put you in a situation where it's going to be harder for us to get further along in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like how in that I think that's kind of like the whole situation with him and Pat Riley leading up to the beginning of this season. It's like, like, hey, like you can't be talking shit about these other players if we're not even playing. This and.
Yeah, let's be real. I mean, like, that's a great point what can you really do if you're not on the court, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, at the end of the day, I think the Heat, they won that game.
Right, 123, 118.
Yeah. They beat the Mavericks. The Mavericks are, I would say, like, they're not a bad team, but they're not a quality team right now. They don't have Luka. I think they would have lost if Luka was there. But, obviously, more power to them. They grinded out for the W, and from what I could see, Jimmy looked engaged that night, and it's kind of interesting, like you're saying, like he's kind of just this.
Like he picks and chooses when to do that.
Yeah, bro, he's very seesaw. So, yeah,
I wonder. I feel like that's something we definitely should ask Los, or have like a segment with him, and I feel like that would be a good.
We'll figure out his opinion on.
Because I feel like that
whispers
exactly. Like we're not. We're obviously fans of other teams, so we have a different perspective. Maybe he sees it in a different light. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But no, yeah, that was kind of my obviously I watched that game and I saw that they went to OT. Cool. I was like, oh, some free hoops. I'll always love some free basketball. But no, that boy Jimmy, bro.
I got to catch also the end of Sacktown and the Nets. I mean.
Yeah.
Kind of, we haven't really talked about the Kings too much, but I mean, De'Aaron Fox looks pretty good, bro, and Cam Thomas is trade bait, so it was cool watching those two guys kind of hoop.
I think they said they're open to trades for Cam Thomas now. Who do you think he would be good on, or who do you think needs a player like Cam Thomas on their team right now?
Needs a player? That's a good question, honestly. I could even see like the Lakers, but. Honestly, like the Bucks probably need him. I could see him being pretty good there, or the Rockets, like another like I don't know, just like another player who can like shoot threes and score a lot, and maybe if he wants to learn how to pass the ball, he can play on in a system where it's a little bit more efficient for the way that they play. But yeah, no, I mean I saw De'Aaron Fox. He had like 20 in the first half. He was going crazy, bro. Very good. The Kings look pretty good, but it wasn't nothing too crazy to take away because I only saw the end. But so far, I mean, Keon Ellis, Keegan Murray, like that. I think we talked about Huerter last time and kind of how Murray kind of replaced him and kind of those minutes are going to him now. But it's interesting to see how they're kind of operating as a team with DeRozan as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched a ton of Kings basketball, but definitely if you guys can watch some Kings hoops because it's been it's pretty electric, bro.
Yeah.
Pretty lucky.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like watch any because those are usually the like late games, like
Yep.
super late, like ending at like
Yeah,
midnight.
that was the 9 p.m. game, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, from what I've like been watching, like highlights and stuff, they're still offensively still one of the better teams, and it's just kind of can they stop? Obviously, they couldn't stop Cam Thomas last night, so that's
Right.
kind of where it boils down to how good
Yeah.
defensively can they be.
Yeah, they're another. I think you brought them up in the cores as well, but they're kind of another interesting team that's like I think just one more piece away from potentially being able to really compete in the West. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how their season turns out. But my next team I had in my notes that I wanted to kind of talk to you about, and we can talk about it for a little while because they need to be shown some love because they're at the bottom of the West, bro. It's the Pelicans, sir. You think they should pull the plug, bro, and kind of just maybe do what honestly there's like a sense of pride and understanding, maybe this season just isn't for us, you know what I'm saying? The Grizzlies kind of did that whenever
Ja was in all their injuries,
was suspended, and all those injuries, and they were just like, you know what, we're gonna punt the season and get Zach Edey or get
okay. Yeah,
somebody.
I was about to say, who was that this past season when that happened to them, or it was? I feel like it was like
it was 2 years ago. So they got who do they give? I think they used the pick for a Marcus Smart trade.
Oh, okay.
And then this upcoming year, you obviously know they had Edey or whatever.
Yeah. It just felt like, I mean, it sucks to say, but I feel like what is happening to the Pelicans is probably going to happen to a team every season is what it's looking like. You know what I mean? Like injuries just kind of deriddles your season, sadly. And going back to your question, if they should just pull the plug, I mean, at this point, yeah. Like, honestly.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, realistically,
I
agree. Well, it's also kind of like the Sixers in a sense, but we'll talk about them. You obviously brought the Pelicans, but it's like it's not a lost season per se. I mean, you could still get players to develop, but realistically, like what are they? What are you?
Forward.
Let me. I got you. Well, it's just like your whole starting five is injured, so you're just playing your young guys, and let's hope for
they are
good development. They are 4-13.
4-13, yeah. So I mean,
they're not terrible. I mean, if they're in the East, they would be fighting for like a play-in spot. But like,
they're not like horrible especially for where they are. But also another thing I want to talk to you about is just Zion's contract, and if you think they should try to look to move off of Zion, like kind of what their plan should be going forward with him. Because in my opinion, man, like for somebody he's just not on the court enough to really get a good grasp on his career arc anymore. And I trust Brandon Ingram more than I trust Zion Williamson at this point. And CJ McCollum is another interesting piece that they have that they could look to trade. CJ McCollum and Zion Williamson are the two pieces that I think they should look to trade to kind of rebuild their team or try to get some value for, because at the end of the day, the Pelicans aren't going to the finals either. So that's another question I was going to ask you too, is like, you think that like they're having conversations and behind closed doors, like let's be real conversations where it's like, we're not going to the finals, so should we just pull the plug? Like it would make sense to just be like, nah, this isn't a prosperous season. We should look to get a draft pick and kind of go from there. Because like CJ's saying, in our opinion, that's probably the best form of a reconciliation. But at the end of the day, it's going to be up to them and what they want to do. But it first starts with, if they want to go that route, I mean, they're going to have to put Zion on the court.
Right. Like
they can't have him sitting and then asking for trades for injured player. That's not really how that works. And they obviously can't trade Dejounte Murray because it's his first year of his contract. So like all this stuff, like
I think they're literally like their whole starting five is injured, right?
Yeah.
I
think Dejounte is going to come back soon.
Okay. But he hasn't played this whole season.
No, not at all. And to be honest with you, again, like I said, is he really a player that's going to catapult you to the NBA Finals? Because that's
absolutely not.
Yeah, absolutely not.
No disrespect on DeJounte.
Not at all, bro.
It's
like,
just kind of.
Yeah, he's a great player. Yeah, he's a cool dude, bro. But like Let's be real. Like,
yeah, he's
I
not
I
gonna
wouldn't even
catapult
consider
you.
him an S tier player. You know,
Nah,
like no, like so
probably
it's
like a
like
B, B
like
A.
yeah, like A or B, yeah,
You
A
know,
or B, and
depending on the
like and
season.
that's what it should be. But to CJ's point, like let's for guys who are making millions of dollars and there's money involved, like you better be having real conversations like that and
Yeah,
not living in fairyland and like, oh well, we have a finals team and no,
yeah.
you don't.
No, you
You're
don't.
4-13, like you're saying, and you're gonna punt the season. That was like kind of my thing because I was looking because tomorrow's the NBA Cup. That's another thing I was gonna ask you about. Are you kind of excited for that? And,
For sure.
I kind of already know the answer.
Yeah,
But
of course, brother.
yeah, bro. Yeah, I think KD and Beal are coming back
They are.
as well. Bro. Of course, they come back versus the Lakers, bro.
Of course.
Weird, bro. I think like it's. I'm like, bro, y'all been out this entire time, and then you're gonna want something in here. But anyways, no, the Pelicans. I think they're kind of in a little bit of a dumpster fire. They're gonna have to figure out what they want to do and where they want to go from here.
Yeah,
I mean,
so I'm looking at the Pelicans payroll just because I'm interested. Mind you, Zion's only 24. He signed it was a 5-year, $197 million contract. He still has 4 years left, and it is only going to get more expensive throughout the years. Brandon
yeah.
Ingram's on
I
his
think
last year.
It goes 39, 42, 45.
Correct.
Or something like that.
Brandon Ingram's on an expiring contract. This is his last season. McCollum has one more season. DeJounte obviously has 2 seasons and then a team option or my bad, player option. Herb Jones, Trey Murphy.
The trade bonus though. So if you trade him, like you got to give him money.
Yeah, and dude, it sucks too because they have a lot of good young players. Like on paper, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Jordan Hawkins, Yves Messi.
Yeah.
Like they have like really good, like a lot of good young players. It's just kind of like Zion. That's literally, you know what I mean? That he was number 1 pick. He's supposed to be the franchise cornerstone, but he can't even stay on the court.
Like you're saying, and none of their players are playoff tested.
Right. No.
Who's on their team who's been through like a real playoff series besides,
McCollum.
Ingram, McCollum, right? Like they don't really have anybody who's at the helm who's like been deep into the playoffs and shit. Yeah. Right. I don't know. That was another question that I wrote down. It's like we talked about it for 10 minutes, so obviously it's it's kind of a big deal, but like the Pelicans don't really have anywhere to go. I mean, they kind of just
flag
have to
race.
ride it out. Yeah, but I also think the Dyson Daniels thing kind of hurts them as well. Ooh. Like seeing him do so well, like that could have been.
I forgot he slipped my mind.
Bro, even that. Like,
who'd they get for him? Was it DeJounte?
I'm not sure. I think he might have been a part of the DeJounte trade.
I'm gonna check because that was a huge, especially them looking at it now. Like it's like, damn, this dude was on our bench and he's probably one of the better shooting guards in the league right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. But
I'm gonna look
that's
it up.
the thing where I was kind of shocked by why they moved him because he's another young player, he's another young trade asset, but they're just the team that I feel like is sputtering and nobody's really talking about it. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, this was the trade. The Atlanta acquire or New Orleans acquire or my fault. Atlanta completes trade with New Orleans, acquires Dyson Daniels, EJ Liddell, Larry Nance Jr., Cody Zeller, and 2 future first-round draft picks. So even if they were to tank, I don't know what exact. Hold on, I got you. 2025 first-round pick via Lakers, so that's y'all's, and a conditional 2027 first-round pick, least favorable of Bucks/Pelicans, protected top 4. So kind of like what you were saying, they kind of bet on DeJounte to kind of like help carry the offensive load and.
Yeah, and I want to give him a chance too because he has been hurt.
Of course, yeah. But I mean,
and he's pretty good without Trae Young,
right? But it's kind of like, I mean, I can only judge off of what is been proven to me this season, and as of right now that he hasn't played. So, But I mean, of course, it's just kind of like you said, what is their like goal for this season, especially now. I mean, let's just say like they do turn it around and end up making a play-in or something. That's a successful season for them, right?
I was gonna ask you for the next episode because it'll like take way too long, and we got to save it because
Right.
can't give over all the cake. But
Right.
we're gonna do like championship pretender or not, like
Oh,
which
contender
teams
or pretender?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You said it. You said it the way I need to say it. But like, if you really can go to the NBA Finals, or if you're just tripping, like you're just
Right.
living in fairyland. Because I think the Lakers again are another like. Not to go off on a tangent about my squad, but it's like I always talked to you about it. Kind of like the Lakers are kind of in the in between zone where it's like, do you want to go all in for the NBA Finals, or do you want to be realistic and kind of understand, hey, we can't even beat the Nuggets still, after 3 years. So it's like, let's kind of, reassess where we really are and stop pretending we're NBA Finals. What I
Yeah,
mean?
I know
And
what you're saying,
even
bro.
the Thunder, I would say are, but there's reasons why they are, right? Like they're not just pretending, oh, we're gonna make the finals, whatever the case. Like I feel like a lot of these teams, man, that's the goal at the start of the season, and it's nothing wrong with that. But as the season kind of plays out, they still try to like, oh, well, we're still winning, instead of giving in to kind of what it really should be.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of going back to your Lakers, bro. Like as you said, they for the past 3 seasons, I would say the Nuggets kind of had y'all's number, playoffs and kind of regular season as well. What you think it's just like a Jokic thing? Like he kind of just goes like off every time he goes against y'all, or what's the
More of a Malone thing. Like I think he just coaches well against the Lakers, and he just understands how to play AD and LeBron. But of course, having Jokic doesn't hurt. I mean, I think I don't really know what it is. It just maybe it's like a matchup thing too. It's kind of like the Thunder and the Lakers, right?
right?
Like the Thunder are always getting played hard by the Lakers, and it's weird because we're not better than the Thunder.
Right.
But like we play them well, whatever the case may be. I think it's just one of those
like a matchup thing.
Yeah, there's teams like that, man. Like the especially at Denver, it's very hard. People forget it's hard to play. I'm not making excuses, but it's hard to play in altitude, and it's hard whenever like a team is very used to playing in that altitude and you're not, and you're dogging and you're tired, and they still have shooters who are hitting open threes and Jamal Murray hitting clutch shots left and right. So
yeah,
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. I was just thinking of it because obviously I'm on Twitter a lot, basketball Twitter. Always people talking, and they're like, man, we called Toronto LeBronto. They're like, what are we calling LA for Jokic? And they're like,
exactly.
Nico LA Nicola Jokic type
Yeah.
shit. And it's
Yeah,
like
they're calling it his
his city
LA or whatever.
Yeah, but no, yeah, I just wanted to see what you thought because I mean, I don't know off the top. I'm pretty sure you might know like what's like his like record against them like over the past.
Yeah, it's like 10-1.
Right.
We won one playoff. I want to say the only game that we've won in the last 2.5 years was that we got swept.
2 years.
2023.
Yeah.
2024 we won one game, but we didn't beat them during the regular season at all.
That's tough. That's
I think it's like 10-1 or something.
Yeah. Is
But
that Yeah. Is that something that like you're not nervous about, but is that like you see them in the playoffs, it's like damn.
I mean, yeah, but I also think at the end of the day, like it's just on you to figure out how to beat them. Like, what can you really like if you face them in the playoffs again? Like, what are you just gonna be like? Oh, we'll throw in the white flag, like not play those 4 games still? Like, nah, you still gotta like
go out
toss
there.
the ball up and see what can happen. And it is a newer thing with JJ Redick, so we are only 0-1 with JJ. So people got to remember, like, it could not be that.
Right. Gotcha.
So that's what I'm hoping, like maybe it was just a loss to the Nuggets this time around, and not really Darvin Ham for the last 2.5 years doing the same stuff over and over again with no, basically being crazy, because that's the definition of insanity, is when you're doing the same shit over and over again and you don't change it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, and I know JJ's insane, but in a good way.
Right. Yeah. Did you see what he said about like
going into the
dark spot? He's like, yeah, no, I literally go to a dark spot. Like I go to my basement and I like look over game tape, like like film all night.
hopefully me and you can meet him one day. But um, yeah, he can talk about basketball for like longer than 24 hours.
I did see something as well. Speaking just on the Lake Show, gotta always bring him up because of the boy. I saw it was like a clip, which I feel like you'll probably think is super cool. Dalton Connect went up to him after practice and was like, "Hey, like, what's like your shooting routine, like before a game and stuff?" And I feel like that you probably saw that, or if you didn't see it, it's probably like, dang, like this is one of the
Hey
greatest
man, yeah, no, he's
3-point shooters.
passing information down. Yeah, I mean, yeah, bro, I think JJ's been great for us. Like I said, I mean, I kind of came on here and praised him already, but he's done an amazing job. Like he definitely has been teaching our younger guys how to play the right way. Even, I mean, I saw on a out of bounds too. He had like Jackson Hayes, who don't really be going into the game, but he was like, bro, can you tell me what's going on in the play?
Right.
Because you never know, somebody could hurt themselves, whatever. It's still our ball, and we still want to run the same play. And now you're in, and if you don't know what to do, like that's what he was saying. Like he's like, if you don't know what to do, then why are you here? If you can't explain, just because you're not playing the game doesn't mean you shouldn't know the play.
Right. For sure.
So just the little things. He talked about it already. Just the details,
The
paying attention
attention
to
and
the details.
details. Yep.
It's hard to find people like that, bro. But so when you do, you gotta like hold on to him because I know you're like that as well. Like again, if you were talking to JJ, you'd be able to appreciate like he's like that. He's very meticulous in the way he goes about things. So
Yeah.
like yeah, there's just an operating like there's just an there's an operating procedure for everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has a system.
Yes, sir. I did want to talk to you about the player of the week this week for the Western Conference was Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What do you think about that?
Bro, he's been hooping. Like, I can't really complain about that. I think they also gave it to him more as like a, shout out. Right? Like,
Yeah.
he's not, I don't know if he's been necessarily like the best player in the West, but it's more to like commemorate him and show love to the veteran. And also there's, 20 some odd weeks in the NBA season. So what is given one to HB gonna do while he's hooping? You got to remember.
Fun fact, he is the first Spurs player to win Player of the Week since DeMar DeRozan in 2020.
Not even Wemby has. Wow.
He led the Spurs to a 3-0 record, wins against the Thunder, Jazz, and Warriors.
That's kind of crazy Wemby hasn't yet.
Yeah, shocking, honestly.
Yeah, I would have think he won one of those last year.
Yeah, he's averaging 22 points on 60% from the field and 60% from three. So shout out to Carolina legend. Gotta show the Tar Heel love.
Yeah, bro.
But no, yeah, it's super dope, bro. It's cool seeing like, obviously it's only been a week, or it's only they starting to figure stuff out, but it's always cool seeing like these like not like random basketball players, but like players that you wouldn't be expecting to be going off in the NBA season, because that's how it is, bro. Like,
yeah, bro.
There's players that are
like, it's again like I think we talked about it last time. Just the parity, you don't know who's gonna go off, right? Like it's cool, of course, seeing Luka, Jokic, like all the normal guys hooping, whatever the case, Curry, but just turning on a random game and seeing again, like I said, Najee Marshall going off or whatever. Like you just never know what you're gonna get.
Right. Yeah, and then the Eastern Conference Player of the Week for this week was actually Giannis.
Yeah, they didn't give it to Franz.
Nah, I think that he got it last week, but Giannis led the Bucks to a 4-0 start to the end of the November month. So
yeah. Okay, so they've been beating. That's another thing too. They've been beating the cupcake teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. So shout out the Bucks, man. I mean, they're slowly creeping up in the Eastern Conference standings. They're also they're still here. You know? I don't like Doc Rivers. I don't think they're doing anything in the playoffs still, but they're going to be an interesting team to talk about on the next episode for sure.
Yes, sir, for sure. But yeah, just had to bring that up. Want to keep everyone up to date about the players of the week if they're not, obviously if they don't see it.
Oh, yeah, no, and pretty soon here we'll be having the player of the month, obviously. because we got November wrapping up. So
who do you?
Kind of
yeah, well, I say obviously we still have one more week, but who are your projections for the month of November?
Jokic and Franz.
Yeah.
Or Jokic and Giannis.
Yeah. I was about to say Jokic is probably gonna take it for sure for the West.
Well, Jokic is no. Jokic will win the Western. Like it's not.
Right.
It's fine. Like it's fine. He's definitely had the best November out of. I mean, I want to say he's on 5 straight triple doubles right now.
Ridiculous.
He plays against the Knicks tonight, so we'll see if he can keep that up.
Right.
Which he must. Again, he'll probably have to because he's dragging people, bro.
Are they playing in the Garden?
Nah. They're in that altitude.
Yep. Yeah, they got he gonna get that. Might as well put the house on.
Yeah, I really. So that's another good thing that you brought up. Like it's interesting to see him cook in the altitude as well because people do get tired. Like it's one thing to go to the Garden and everybody, you just playing basketball, but when you playing in Colorado, Utah, Nevada, all these like higher elevation states, bro, it's no joke for sure. Like that shit, it'll catch up to you.
Yeah, exactly,
Something
bro.
the common fan not thinking about.
Yeah. Talking about another one of the bottom teams in the league right now, the Wizards, 2-13 on an 11-game losing streak.
Yeah, but their plan is clear, which I fuck with, right? Like,
right.
They know that they're punting, which it's like if you watch them, they go out, they play Sar 30 minutes, they play Koulibaly 30 minutes, they play Poole 30 minutes. Like they know what they're doing. Yeah. So I'm less sketch about them, but the Wizards are a team that like we haven't talked about this really like. They got to get it together. I think ever since John Wall and Bradley Beal left,
right,
that's unacceptable, bro.
Yeah,
like, it's been like so long, for you guys to have any relevance. So even for it to take this long, where it's even now, it's still horrible. The product's horrible. Right. So it sucks that like we have to watch that because again, it's been like that for almost coming up on a decade now. So I think it's like 9 years or whatever, but that in itself is kind of goes to show you like I don't know really what's going on in that franchise. I would like to know because they are getting lucky with the lottery odds and they are getting good players and players that they can staff. Even like Johnny Davis, like they still have him on the roster. He's just chilling. Corey Kispert's obviously doing his thing. Like he ended up being a pretty good pick in my opinion.
Yeah.
So like
Koulibaly's doing really good.
Yeah, bro, for sure.
Like
so
they have the pieces. I think it's just like figuring their identity out at this point, and I feel like I always bring that up for a lot of these teams.
Defense, bro,
right.
If you can get those guys to buy into, you're gonna have to play defense for 30 minutes.
Right.
And they're like, okay, bet, like, because they got some dogs on there, man. Like, I wouldn't be shocked to see the Wizards good in the next 5 years, but again, like. We can't keep giving grace to the same teams over and over again. It's kind of like at some point there's gonna have to be a management change, right? Because like you can't. I think it's malfeasance, honestly, to give millions and millions of dollars to people who aren't like giving you a good product. But I could be wrong. Like what do we know? Because we don't have $1 million companies yet. But to me, that just doesn't seem like that's correlating.
Right.
Like why are we still keeping the same people around if they're not giving us the results we need? Even though CJ's saying like we have pieces.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I feel like at this point it's something with the like upper like management or something.
Yeah, but they also like I said I know they have a 2026 plan or a 2025 plan, 2026 like they have this stuff where it's like if I ask like what are you doing for the season? Oh, we're punting for Cooper Flag. Like okay, that makes sense. Like, yeah, fair enough. Like because you guys aren't winning the finals and they know that. Right, so they're kind of in that in between where it's like they're still building what they need to build, and that's kind of where we at.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yep, for sure. You have any other topics you want to discuss?
Nah, man, that was really it. I was just gonna say we could probably get into those tiers now. I know you got.
Yeah, I was about to say I have a little bit, just kind of stuff that I've been seeing on Twitter and stuff would. See your thoughts.
Oh, yeah,
so
your bookmarks.
Bookmarks, yeah. So I follow. Like I said, I've been trying to keep up with college basketball and stuff. This is obviously not this season, but I wanted to kind of name you off these players from the class of 2017.
Ah, okay.
So number 1 player, Marvin Bagley. Crazy. Obviously, he went to Duke. Number 2 player, MPJ went to Mizzou. Obviously,
Yep.
NBA champion. We know what he's become. Number 3 player, Mo Bamba.
Ooh.
UT's finest.
Yeah.
Sheck West made a song about him. Had us going crazy that summer. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Number 4.
I was honestly sorry.
No, you're good.
But Mo Bamba's actually turned into a pretty good player, bro.
Right. He definitely has,
like,
bro.
Maybe not whatever in that class, but he's pretty good. Like, he's definitely an NBA player.
Right. Number 4 player, Colin Sexton.
Not surprised, bro. Bro's a dog, bro.
Went to Bama. Number 5 player, DeAndre Ayton. Okay. Obviously a number 1 player, number 1 pick going into the next season.
He went to Arizona.
Number 6 player, Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, Western Kentucky, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then 7, Trayvon Duval.
Bro, Trey, where did Trey end up going? Kentucky or Duke?
Duke.
Yep. Trey, Trey's. It's funny you bring that. So that name, like, you probably know Trey. Like Trey was cold. Like,
he was super cold.
He just never got to it in college enough. But he's like another one of those guys where he's definitely tapped into the hoop scene enough to have made money from it.
Right,
like, he's doing it.
Yeah. Number 8, Jaren Jackson Jr.
Wow. Okay. Where did JJ go?
Michigan State.
I forgot about that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's cold.
Number 9, Jared Vanderbilt.
Vando, Kentucky.
Number 10, Wendell Carter Jr.
Ooh, okay. Wendell Carter Jr. Kentucky or Duke?
Duke.
Yep, Duke. Okay, I was gonna say that one of those blue schools.
Number 11. This one was cool for me because I was, he played for the Thunder and he won a dunk title with them. Hamidou Diallo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, where did he go again?
Kentucky.
Yep. Yeah, he ended up playing a little bit in the NBA. Like, he was okay. I don't really know where he is right now. I don't know if he's on a roster.
I don't think he is now, but I know after the Thunder, I'm pretty sure he went to the Pistons. And, Pistons the past probably 5 years have kind of been, we all know. But the number 12 player was Troy Brown.
Troy Brown, bro. I kind of forgot he was so cold in high school.
Yeah, he went to shout out Vegas. He went to Centennial High in Vegas. He went to Oregon. Oregon, though.
Okay.
Number 13, Brian Bowen.
Brian Bowen. Where did Brian Bowen go?
Louisville.
That's what I was gonna say. I think he's Louisville.
Yeah.
He cold too, bro, but he obviously didn't end up doing too much. But
right. Number 14 player, Lonnie Walker.
They just let Lonnie Walker out of the league, bro. I don't know why he's not on a roster, fam.
He should be. Good, bro. Yeah. He's definitely an NBA player for sure.
Did you see his dunk the other night? It was on Sleeper. It was like on social media. It was like in the little Euro League or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, posterized somebody, bro.
I saw that.
Cool, for sure.
Number 15 player was Nick Richards.
Okay. Nick Richards, for sure. Nick Richards is on the Charlotte Hornets, right?
He is.
Yeah, he's, bro. We didn't talk about him last time on our cores, but you could kind of wiggle him in there if you want to. He's another sleeper center that people don't really think about.
Yep. He went to Kentucky, and Lonnie Walker went to the U. And then number 16 player was Brandon McCoy.
Brandon McCoy, bro. I haven't heard these names in years, dude.
Years.
I was super tapped in around then.
Right.
That's interesting. I used to look at like the top 100
all the time. Yeah, me too. He went to UNLV. Shout out Vegas. Yeah, sure. Number 17, Gary Trent Jr.
Not surprised at that, bro.
Crazy.
He's an NBA vet.
He sure is. Went to Duke. Another Dookie. Number 18, Kevin Knox.
Hey, Kev, I kind of feel bad for him. I feel like he didn't really get the opportunities. But then again, I think his earlier on the Knicks, he was playing 20 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Like he never turned into that baby KD that people were looking for.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Crazy work ethic, bro. Crazy work ethic. And I want to say he was from Florida.
Yes.
Yeah.
He went to Kentucky.
Yeah.
And then 2021 was Jalen Hands.
Jalen Hands. UCLA, right.
Yep.
He's another dude who ended up making it off of just hooping.
Right.
Like, he didn't go to the NBA, but he's okay.
Yep.
For sure.
Number 22 was Billy Preston.
Billy, yeah.
Went
Not surprised. Billy, where did Billy went to Oak Hill, I think?
Yep.
Damn, bro, you're like jogging my memory, bro. I haven't heard some of these guys in a minute, but Billy's so cool.
Yeah.
I remember watching his mixtapes, his big ass smile, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, he went to Kansas.
Okay.
23 was Chris Welks.
Chris Welks, yeah. He was where did he go?
UCLA.
UCLA. I was gonna say he sounds familiar, bro, because I think he was in the same. He was with JH.
Yep.
Hands.
And then 24 was Nick Weatherspoon.
Nick
He
Witherspoon,
went to Mississippi State.
Interesting hoop place, especially for back then.
Yeah. And then 25 was Ethan Thompson. He went to Oregon State. And then 26 was Jonte Porter, MPJ's brother, and he went to Mizzou.
And obviously,
we know what happened.
Bet on basketball if you're in the NBA,
right? But no, yeah, it was cool looking at that because obviously, like how you were saying, when I was younger, I was also keeping up with it. Probably more so when I was in high school, just because it's like, oh, like, let me see who's in my class. Let me see who's in maybe in the class after me. But kind of started to like not watch as much high school hoops the older I got, and kind of looking at this that high school class. That class has produced a lot of good players, bro. Like quality players that are still contributing to teams.
NBA players or like pro basketball players. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Or even like you said, maybe not even like playing in like the Euros or even the league, but like are still able to make money from like how good they were at hoops and kind of figured out how to still, contribute in a way that like you said, like a lot of the player like watching their hoops mixtapes when you're younger and stuff. So it was cool like looking through that. I saw that, I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure ZD would probably appreciate that,
Like that's funny because I don't know what 2017 was like. Was that like one of the years you were like, oh, this is a good class or whatever?
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Because, looking back at it now too, I'm like, dang, like all these players are still in the league. You know what I mean? Like you said, they're still NBA players, which like I feel like, I mean, we could probably do this with any other class too. That was just kind of the one that this page that I follow on Twitter that like had posted, and I was like, I'm probably gonna bring back some older classes and see how how it looks now, or like, oh dude, I forgot about that guy, or I remember watching the hoop mixtape of this guy when I was younger, so it's cool looking back at that because obviously it's 7 years into the future, we kind of see what they panned out to be, so shout out to class of 2017 and shout out to CBK Report on Twitter. I've been following them and they keep me tapped in with all the college hoops because there's so many games throughout the whole season. It's kind of a little hard to keep up.
Following up with college basketball.
It's been cool, bro. Like I said, I'm not super tapped in, but just since I follow the right pages, I guess I am in a sense, like seeing that Memphis just beat. Oh, who'd they just beat? My bad. They just beat a ranked team.
Was that today?
Yeah, I think it was today. They just beat. Fuck, sorry.
No, you're good, bro.
God damn.
What was it?
I'm gonna look it up. Sorry, because I wanna bring it up because it was UConn. It was UConn. Duh. So,
dude, I saw it. It's crazy that you said that because I had that game on when I went to sleep earlier.
Really?
Like, that's what I fell asleep to, and then it ended. So it was just ESPN, and I was like, oh, whatever.
Right.
Like, whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they beat They beat them though.
Yeah, they beat them by I think like 2 points or something. So good game. And like I said, it's one of those things where there's so many games on at like random times. Like it'll be during the day. It could be like super late at night. It's kind of hard to keep up with, but it's been dope. Like I told you, I want to just be able to keep up with these college players because these are the people that could potentially be in the league or be the next superstar in the league. Just kind of going underneath the radar until they make it to the league, right? So just kind of trying to stay tapped in. And of course, we, like I said before, we live in Austin, bro, and we have Moody Center now, so obviously, we're probably gonna go to a game on Black Friday, and
bro. We'll be able to like experience that, and that's gonna be my first time watching a game in Moody because obviously it used to be at Frank Irwin. So when I was younger, like that didn't even exist. So it'll be cool, bro, for sure.
Yeah, so it's been super dope, bro. It's like I said, it's a lot to keep up with, and I mean, even just the NBA in general is a lot to keep up with. But trying to add college basketball it's a little different, right? Like, there's not gonna be, I mean, there is potentially an NBA player on each team, but more than likely, a lot of the players are just kind of, just good hoopers. Obviously, D1, but not like crazy jumping out of the gym or shooting the lights out. It's a lot more team basketball, which I feel like a lot of people like forget because they see just how the NBA is, and it's like, oh, you see the Giannis's, you see the Jokic type of players, but like they had to work to get to that point, and it's not just something they were, in college, right? Yeah. So I don't know. It's been super dope for me, bro. It's obviously a lot to keep up with, but for all my people that are interested in it, like I would say just follow like the right pages. I could send a couple to you if you're not already following them, but like that's kind of how I've been, and I'll just kind of post like, Ace Bailey or Dylan Harper, like the top prospects in the league. Like that's kind of who they're like keeping track of, just because it's like these are the players that are probably gonna be in the league this upcoming draft. So, but no, yeah, like Trey Johnson, I can't wait to see him play. I think he's like a projected lottery pick, for the Longhorns. So no, it's been dope, man. And like I said, it's a different type of basketball. Like for all my people that just love hoops for what it is, like X's and O's, I would recommend probably watching more college than NBA, because NBA is a lot of like ISO ball, unless you have like a specific team that kind of plays as a, like how the Warriors are, kind of just moving the ball a lot. And then obviously they have Curry, but majority of these college teams, they don't have like that type of player. You know what I mean? So
yeah, they're having trying to use mismatches,
right? And a lot of the games are, if they're like, if you like the 90s or even early 2000s hoops, that's kind of what it's like, low scoring games, like, or you'll get the few games where they're going against a weaker opponent and they're just kind of like, oh, the talent on UT or the Blue Bloods is like kind of ridiculous and they're beating them by like 60. But a lot of the other games, especially like in conference games, like all of them are solid, bro. It's cool seeing just how they play is like an actual team opposed to how the league plays. It's slower and it relies more so on team and like rotations for defenses. And like I said, if you like X's and O's, that like you'll love college hoops. So for all my people that
I didn't think about it like that. Like there's definitely more plays being run, and the coaches' systems are like very strict. Like they're a lot more strict,
right?
And, that's fine, But like you're saying, the NBA is kind of more free flowing. There's not as many pauses or like looking to get into action. It's more, just abuse mismatches and kind of go from there.
Right. So, but yeah, no, that's kind of what I've been taking away from it so far. It's been cool. Like I said, it's a lot to keep up with, but I'm doing my best. I'm not saying I'm like fucking I'm gonna be scouting out all the diamonds in the roof or anything, but I'm trying to do my part at least.
100%, 100p. That's dope, bro. I think I got to get on that wave, but there's so many sports right now, man. It's tough. I think football and basketball is enough for me.
Right. But yeah,
basketball, so.
we could get into this tier list if you would like, sir.
Okay, bet.
Because this will probably take up at least like 20-30 minutes, depending on what's said about each player and whatnot. But I have all the not starting or not going into the season being starting small forwards, but who have been playing the most minutes on the teams as a starting small forward and who's been playing a lot of the minutes as well. So wanted to see where you ranked them. Let's see. So starting off, sir, where would you rank RJ Barrett?
This season he's playing like an A-tier player probably.
Okay.
Like you can't really tell me there's like a ton of, 3 guards that you'd rather have than RJ Barrett per se. But he's also not playing at like a super efficient level, but that's never really been RJ. I think he looks the most free he's ever been like on a basketball court in terms of like what he's able to do, what his capabilities are. He looks like he knows his game and yeah, man, he's been playing great, bro. Like, he's been playing pretty good. I think he's probably the Raptors' best player right now because Scotty Barnes has been hurt, so I'll put him there.
A-tier, gotcha.
Yeah, bro.
What about Tim Hardaway Jr.?
C-tier player.
C?
I mean, yeah, he's been knocking down threes. He's been doing good things for the Pistons, but Tim Hardaway Jr. is such a one-dimensional player. Like it's all, I don't know. Like it's all just, okay, catch, shoot, or 2 dribbles, 3 dribbles, like shoot. Mm-hmm. And I don't really know if that's a winning player. Like I don't know if Tim Hardaway Jr. is a winning player, but he's a good NBA veteran. But nothing too special, bro, for sure. Nothing too crazy. I got to put him in the C tier.
I guess before we go any like deeper into all these players, as like let's say you were a head coach, right? What are you expecting from like your small forward? Like obviously you probably would
That's a great question. Honestly, nowadays, like it depends on like how your side. Like for example, so if Tim Hardaway Jr. is a pretty good example, like he can't guard anybody either.
No.
Like when you look at RJ Barrett, at least he's got some size. He's like about 6'8", 6'7". He's got a good wingspan and he can score the ball. That's why I put him in the A tier and he's got potential. But bro, like Tim Hardaway Jr. is like I wouldn't know what to do as a coach. Like I would be like, I guess run off a down screen and guard the least scary player on the other team because like he's really like a 2 what he does for you, but like at the way that he's been playing and like when he came into the league, he always played the 3. So that's an interesting question for sure. Like I wouldn't know how to utilize some of these guys, to be honest. Like I might even put RJ at the 4. Like when Scotty B was out, I might have even put him at the 4.
Right. I think they did actually, right?
I was sometimes, bro. You know how the NBA,
right? It's just kind of essentially positionless, I guess, in a sense, right?
Yeah, it's like switching and everything, but I'm sure they did, bro, because it's a great idea. Like I would definitely do so as well.
Yeah. I was just kind of like thinking of it, because of course, going to our episode that we actually posted today, go check it out. With the shooting guards, it's kind of, we kind of said it's a dying position in a sense, right? Like I wouldn't say that is how the small forwards are. I just think they're either a shooting guard initially when they came into the league that they're kind of shifting over to a small forward, or they're a power forward that is like, okay, you could kind of stretch the floor out a little bit. Let's move you over to the small forward. Like I feel it's kind of like the in between a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like because there's a lot of players that are gonna be coming up on the list that are like that. You know what I mean? There's like the Lauri Markkanens that are essentially a 4, but they have him playing as a small forward, or like
right.
a Lou Dort that is essentially a 2 guard that they shifted over just because of like the players that we have on the team. And I feel like that's kind of what it's based off of. It's who's your like personnel that you have on the team already, right? Because it's like the small forward position is kind of like, I mean, for me, like example, going back to the question I had for you, it's kind of like I would say I would want my small forward to be able to be like a 3-and-D essentially, like be able to lock down probably one of the better players, and like if you're open, knock down that shot type of thing.
You also sent me that thing that I forget what Instagram or what account it's from.
Oh,
So the
yeah.
evolution. So like that's kind of I'm sure they could do it for the three as well, but kind of like what can they bring to the table that just other positions can? I thought that the 5 one was definitely interesting. Like I agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously like the 3 and D, and like even like where it's like just the offensive like I don't know like juggernaut. Like it's kind of like it's harder with the three to kind of decide. Okay, you're gonna play the three, but you're gonna guard the 4 or the 5 or whatever the case may be. Like it's just interesting to see in the NBA how positionless basketball kind of changed everything.
Right. Yeah, so that I guess that's kind of, what I took away from, like, obviously I like wrote down all the players and like got the
Yeah,
pictures for
yeah,
them.
yeah.
So it was like, dang, like this position is so like all over the place. Like
Yeah,
like I said, there's a 2 guard that's playing a 3, there's a 4 that they came in the league a 4, then now they're playing a 3 just because of the team they're on or stuff. So I don't know, it's just interesting, I guess, like looking at it
yeah,
from
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
just like
Like
gathering all the players and
like
stuff.
a bird's eye view. Yeah,
Right.
exactly,
But going to the next player, sir, where would you rank Lou Dort?
bro. I mean, a B tier player. Like I think he's also another player who's like kind of at his peak powers because he's been in the league already for a couple years. Like he's not really gonna get much better than what he is right now. But you can't complain for what he is, bro. 3 and D. He's not the most consistent offensive player. He's obviously not gonna, break you down off the dribble or do anything crazy. He's a one dribble pass type of guy, but um, for what he's contributed to the Thunder, bro, I think they're very happy and what he's done this season. He's been very consistent. And so yeah, I got to put him in the B tier. I think he's kind of his max potential has already been reached. But hey, who's to say that like having Lou Dort for the next 3 or 4 years, it doesn't hurt you, right? Very good defender, all NBA defender, and then on top of being able to hit threes.
Right. What about Rui Hachimura?
Rui, I think he's a B tier player as well. He's also been hurt a little bit this season, but from what the way that I've seen JJ use Roy this year, it's been awesome, bro. Like he's telling Roy to be aggressive, look for your shot, be the athletic playmaker that you can be. And with Braun, it seems interesting. They kind of have better chemistry building like over the years. Like it's just cool to watch Roy get more and more confident since he's came from the Wizards. But yeah, another solid player. Like can't really complain. I'm sure a lot of teams would love to have Rui Hachimura on the team, just like they have Lou Dort. Like they would love to have Lou Dort. So yeah, they kind of got to go in the similar tier because again, they're not like a potential all star like R.J. Barrett can be. But yeah, they're close. They're close. They're definitely in the same tier for sure. B tier.
Got you. What about Bilal Coulibaly?
Um, Bro, he's played at a B tier level as well. I think again he's one of the better defenders in the Eastern Conference, but again just the offensive stuff. Like he's not very offensively polished. I think he's obviously still young, but in the NBA, I think people value points more than anything, unfortunately. So that's kind of what's stocking him from being like an A tier type of player, is he can't really score when he wants to. But from what I've seen, bro, he's been awesome so far. Like he's been pretty good on the defensive end, and he's also been like one of the few players that they've had like in the lineup consistently. Like he's not in and out of the lineup because he's kind of worked his tail off to be able to like get to that point. He's gonna be a long time starter, bro. So he's another B tier player.
Yes, sir. What about Dylan Brooks?
Same. I mean, again, like Dylan Brooks is hard to rank because again, bro, he's already at his max peak powers. Like we're not gonna ever see Dylan Brooks get better. There's not really, in my opinion, unless something crazy happens. So you're getting 3 and D, and that's kind of it. He doesn't really do much off the dribble, but he can guard, and he does. He's a pest. He gets under people's skin. You know what I'm saying? He's very lengthy. He's a good defender. So yeah, I think the B tier for him is solid. Dylan Brooks definitely is. He's outplayed his contract, I think, but that's good for the Rockets for sure.
Right. Going into the next one, what about Caleb Martin?
Oh yes. Caleb is the one who plays. Which I get Cody and Caleb.
He plays for the Sixers.
Caleb, I would say C tier this year. He just hasn't been like that good. I get them mixed up. I get Cody and Caleb mixed up.
Yeah.
But, dude, yeah, he just hasn't been that good from what I've seen. He just doesn't really look like a good signing for them. I think he was another person where it's like these Heat players, they think they're good, but no, they're good in the Heat system. They're not good like players. Like Gabe Vincent is another example where it's like, that ain't really gonna get much done. So yeah, bro, I'll probably have to put him in the C tier.
Okay. What about Taurean Prince?
C tier. I haven't watched Taurean that much. I think he had one game where he had like 20 points. But he used to play for the Lakers. I mean, yeah, I haven't watched him that much, bro. Honestly, like, I can't really give you like. I don't want to be like, oh, he's playing at a C tier level. He's just a C tier player, in my opinion. He's not really gonna give you much, and he's another player where I keep talking about it. Like, what trajectory does he have to go upwards? It's one thing. I think you said R.J. Barrett was the first one. Like, I think he's also one of the younger ones. You said like he's also like at the beginning of his career, he's still developing. Like he still has like potential to go upwards. But Taurean Prince is somebody who's an NBA veteran who's like going downwards. So probably C tier.
Okay. What about Jaden McDaniels?
Bro, I would love to put him in the B tier, but he hasn't been good this year at all. So he's probably a C tier player this year. A 0 on offense and not that great defensively. It's not a good recipe for success. That's why the Timberwolves are almost, fighting for a play-in spot because Jaden McDaniels isn't that good. Yeah. And because, their surrounding pieces around Ant aren't that efficient. And it's just for this season, and like I'm sure people might even see the tier list and be like, "Oh my God, you have Jaden McDaniels as a C2 player." It's just like, from what I've seen in 17 games or whatever, he just hasn't been good.
Yeah.
So,
I agree, sir. What about Norman Powell?
Bro, I had to put him in the A tier. He's been one of the reasons the Clippers they're doing so well. Him and James Harden. I mean, what more can you say? He's probably honestly in the conversation for most improved player. Like, and Norman Powell is an older vet, which is interesting to say. I was just harping on the older vets earlier, but Norman Powell has been around for a long time. And it's interesting to kind of see, like, I think he was working with Rico Hines in the offseason to really take his game to the next level. And that's helped boost him into the next tier of player. Because normally he was a B tier player, kind of a role player coming off the bench. One of the better bench scorers that we had in the league behind Malik Monk and Hero. But now that he's in the starting lineup, he's getting starter, opportunities. So
I don't know if you saw what he had said. I think like the whole Paul George trade. I think he said like sometimes less is more.
Exactly.
I mean, he's kind of proving his point.
Let me ask you this too: what do you think Kawhi is going to end up doing, man? You think he's going to retire?
I don't know, man. I
think he is.
Like, you think he's going to retire like soon or
no, after this, like after he gets paid this year, probably.
Yeah, it's tough, bro. Like, because obviously we know what Kawhi can be. You know what I mean? And what he's done, obviously, but it's just him being on the court.
He's already been that. I don't know if we're ever gonna get the peak Kawhi Leonard again.
Nah, I don't think so. Especially with all the injuries that he's got throughout his whole career,
Right.
It's been one of those things. Going into the next one though, Zachary Ricochet.
B tier for a rookie, bro. Very happy and excited and solid. Not super impactful in winning, but again, his defense is a lot better than THJ's, for example, right?
Yeah.
He's still an offensive project. He's still learning. But he's shown you his capability. He can put up 30 in a hurry. Oh my goodness! If he decides to get hot from three, it's kind of it's tough to stop somebody who's 6'10", 6'11", and the wingspan of 7'4", 7'5". Crazy stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure the Hawks are super excited, but I have to put him in the B tier, bro. He's solid. Solid.
Yeah, he's been a really good rookie. What about? I'm a butcher his name. Julian Champagnie.
Champagnie, yeah.
Yeah.
C tier player, but he's developing. and they're giving him a little bit more run. Spurs, right?
Spurs, yeah.
He also has a twin brother as well, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
The Champagne twins.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, dope player, bro. What can you say? The Spurs are building something. He doesn't really get a ton of run from what I've seen. Oh, Spurs are also blocked out in Texas, so like we can't get it unless it's like away.
Yeah.
By the way, like, if you have League Pass, you can't even watch Spurs games unless you buy the bundle.
Yeah.
Which is stupid.
Stupid.
But it's smart because they get as much money as they can. But so I can't even watch them too much. But from what I have seen on the national TV games, because luckily they're starting to get more recognition, obviously since they have Wemby. From what I've seen, he's played well on the national stage, bro. And I think he's been another player that they've had like for a couple years that they're still developing. He's still a young player, so I'd have to put him in the C tier for right now. But he's definitely going. He's on the up. He's on the up for sure.
Got you. What about Cam Johnson?
Cam's been a B tier player this year, bro. I don't think the Nets were anticipating he was going to become a 25 points per game. Like I don't think he's going to ever be that, but he'll be able to give you 40% from deep, 15 to 18 points a game, and he's another young player who ever since he left the Suns, he's just got a huge confidence boost in his game, and it's kind of changed the way that he plays, you know what I'm saying? He's a very, very dangerous player if you leave him open from the corners, and yeah, bro, he's a solid wing, bro. I have to put him in the B tier. He also defends pretty well.
Shout out Carolina.
Yeah, for real.
What about Benedict Mathurin?
Bro, Matthew's in the A tier this year, bro. I mean, he's also exploding. Pause, but the things that he's doing as well, bro. The Pacers are above water because of what Benedict Mathurin has been able to do sometimes. I want to say against the Celtics earlier this year, he took him to the brink. He was giving him like 40. So it's, for the way that he's played these 20 games, especially since last year, it's just an immediate tier upgrade, and coming off the bench as well, bro, and just being that force that the Pacers need for their offense. It's been awesome. I think the where his deficiencies lie though are on the defensive end, but he's athletic enough to make up for it. And he had a crazy poster dunk the other day. It was like a windmill, bro.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Bro, it's crazy.
Crazy. Yeah, he's been balling out, bro. What about Tamani Kamara?
Kamara, I haven't watched a ton of, but he's another interesting project as well for the Blazers. I'd have to put him in the C tier because he's kind of, again, he can shoot some threes, but what I've seen, he doesn't really have a bag. Like Kamara he ain't really breaking you down off the dribble or anything like that.
Yeah.
But he's a good defender, and he's a part of the Blazers core. Not really much to say about him. Probably the C tier.
What about Royce O'Neal?
Royce has played pretty good. I would probably put him in the B tier. That's another player I'm thinking like, but he's been playing like, serviceable, man. I think when he came in last year, it was interesting because, the Suns really needed somebody like him, and now that he's been accustomed to the team, it's interesting to kind of see how he's carved out a role for himself. And again, he's somebody who's not really gonna ascend per se, but a great 3-and-D player, and a lot of teams want Royce O'Neal, and he's been playing pretty consistently this year. I think he's played all the games, so
yeah,
hasn't been hurt at all. He's been definitely very good.
Yes, sir. What about Josh Green?
He's been probably C tier. He has not been like, I think, for example, I think he was better on the Mavericks than he is on the Hornets, which is weird because you would think it would be the other way around. But I think Luka made him a lot better of a player than, it may have seemed, because he's not like, I would say, a part of the Charlotte Hornets core. Like, that's another player where I could see them trading down the line or whatever for value. But I would say he's been like a C tier player this year. You don't really hear too much about Josh Green. And yeah, I think, his career arc's kind of unfortunate. He was playing really well with the Mavericks, and then, you just don't hear much about him anymore.
Yeah. What about Klay Thompson?
Klay's been, let's say, I'll put Klay in the B tier. Again, he's not very good defensively, so that is the issue with him. And it's not like you're getting peak Klay Thompson again. This was 6 years ago, and obviously it would be different. We're talking about Klay. Klay is Klay, but from an offensive perspective, you can't be too disappointed. And obviously, he's been able to give them a boost in that regard from the 3-point line and give Luka somebody else where he could spray it out to and get an open shooter. So, not nothing to harp on Klay, but definitely putting him in the B tier just because of the defensive issues. And from what I've seen, he still shoots bad shots, bro. Like he's still not, getting the shots within the flow of the offense. And I think that's kind of been an issue.
Is it obvious if he would make those shots, would they be good shots?
Nah, because I think Curry shoots bad shots, but he makes bad shots. Same with Dame. It's kind of like this. Like Paul George was right, basically. Like it's still a bad shot, but he just made the bad shot. He's worked on that shot enough to be able to where it's comfortable enough to make it a shot where he's comfortable enough taking. But it doesn't mean that it's a high percentage look.
Right. Gotcha. What about Josh Hart?
B tier, bro. He's been like on offense. Again, I think he was a little bit better last year, but he's been so good on defense, bro. He's been better than Mikal Bridges this year on defense, so I have to put him in the B tier for sure.
Gotcha.
He's been like, one of like plays 35 minutes a night, bro. Like he just never comes out of the game, guards the best player on the opposing team, So you can't really complain about what you're getting from him.
Mm-hmm. What about Karis LeVert?
LeVert's been okay. Damn, he's tough too. Probably a B tier. Like he's, like he's kind of the same player every year. He doesn't really improve or get worse. He kind of just is there. From what I've seen, he's doing the more of the same, just hitting threes, playing defense when he can. He seems like he's taking less shots this year, which is good. Like I don't really think Karis LeVert needs to be the focal point of like your. Ty Jerome has really been better than Karis LeVert, honestly. But
right.
Just like he used to kind of shoot bad shots too, but he's getting better about that. So definitely a solid player though still.
Yeah. What about? Sorry.
Now you good? Who you got?
MPJ.
MPJ's been. Hey, he started to find his stroke, bro. So recently, at the beginning of the year, it wasn't too good. I'm gonna have to put him in the B tier. He's close to being in the A tier though. He's been going off recently. He's been a lot better, but he's still Mr. Never Swing the Rock, bro. So like, I seen a video where like Jokic and Westbrook were wide open under the basket against the Nets, and he shot like a horrible three. And I was like, bro, what are you doing, fam? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I'd have to put him in the B tier.
Gotcha. What about Andrew Wiggins?
Wiggs has been kind of a ghost, bro. Probably C tier this year. He had a great game the other night, but I think that was his best game of the season. And for what they signed him for, I don't think he's been that like amazing. Again, he had like a pretty good playoff run and then kind of like disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably C tier.
C tier. Gotcha. What about Jimmy Butler?
B tier, man. We talked about it earlier in the pod, bro. Like he just takes plays off because of his age, and he's not at the LeBron level, right, to be A tier or S tier, but he had a great game against the Mavericks the other night, and it still goes to show you he still is an A tier caliber player. But I think for like his total body of work, he's been, a B tier type player, and his defense is still pretty good though, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I think actually over the next couple games, bro, that's gonna change. So right now he's still in the B tier, but he's gonna make his way to the A tier pretty soon, bro, if he keeps hooping the way he's been hooping.
You said Wiggs was in the C tier?
Yeah.
Gotcha. What about Trey Murphy?
Bro, has he been hurt?
I think whenever I looked it up on like Basketball Reference, he was their main starter. But let me see.
Trey?
Yeah.
I have not seen like much of Trey Murphy at all this season.
No, I'm lying. He only he's played 5 games.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you. I was like, I don't know, because I'll be watching, like, I'll watch the Pelicans. Like, I don't Trey hasn't been out there too much. But from what I've seen, he's looked pretty good. But we'll put him in the C tier just because, again, like, he was a player that was on an upwards trajectory, that was looking to get paid, and he just hasn't been on the court that much.
Scratch that. My bad. Put BI. My fault.
BI.
Yeah, my fault. That's who I
BI
meant.
is an 8-tier player, bro.
A
So
tier.
scratch whatever I just said.
Yeah, that was my fault. That was my bad. My bad.
No, you good. You good. Yeah, no, BI is different. BI. From I always tell CJ this off camera, but I wish the Lakers never traded BI. He was another player where it was like he was obviously going to be good. He's one of the premier kind of mid-range scorers that we have in the NBA, and consistently putting up 18 to 20 a game. And I just think for him to be the focal point of like what the Pelicans are doing, it kind of goes to show you, the caliber of player he is. But he's one of the more efficient players we have in our league. So definitely an A-tier type of player, brother.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, 100% agree. I left the better ones towards the end, so we might start. We have yet to have an S tier player in the small forward.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that'll change here.
Okay, yeah.
I think it will.
Okay.
Jaylen Brown.
I'll say, bro, I'm not gonna lie, Jaylen Brown's been S tier this year, man. Like, he can make an All NBA team this year. The way that he's been hooping. He got hurt for a little second there because I have him on my fantasy team, so I know he was hurt for like a week.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, bro, I mean, he's been playing at an All NBA level, and people keep pissing him off, bro. Don't do that. Like, JB, man, Finals MVP, JB.
Yeah.
So I would definitely pick him over, RJ Barrett and BI for sure. Yeah. So gotta put him in the S tier.
Got you.
That's crazy.
What about Zach LaVine?
A-tier player, bro. He's been hooping this year, man. And I have the Zach LaVine hate's gone real quiet, huh?
Oh, I haven't seen it really. This season.
Hey Siri, turn it off. I guess Siri thought I said her name. But Zach LaVine, yeah, bro. I mean, the hate's gotten so quiet. You just don't hear it anymore because he's actually been balling out. And I would say, the Bulls probably may not even be looking to trade him anymore.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy to say, but just because DeRozan's gone now, he's been able to, get more of the shots that he thinks he deserves, and he seems like he's happy with the shot diet. And yeah, but he's not an S tier player though, because Jaylen Brown really can guard. Zach LaVine doesn't really play too much defense.
Nah, not at all. What about Lauri Markkanen?
A tier, bro. But this season he's been kind of quiet, in my opinion. I have a theory on this, dude. It's funny you brought him up. I was hoping you did. I think Lauri Markkanen is going quiet so he doesn't get traded, so the Jazz can get Cooper Flag. Like, I think he's doing that on purpose so he doesn't get traded, and that was my theory on him. Because I'm like, nah, Lauri I think he's been, because when I watch him, dude, he does that too, where he be cooking, and then for some reason he talks to Will Hardy, and Will Hardy don't put him in, bro. And I'm like, okay, y'all are just selling. Like, y'all are like, somebody like upper management's like, okay, like these are the people we want to have on the team still, like in the future. And Lauri's one of them. Colin Sexton's another one of them who, like, they just don't play in the fourth quarter sometimes. Like, they just sit. And it's a close game, and I'm like, the Jazz are punting. We haven't talked about the Jazz a lot, but bro, they be punting games. Like,
yeah,
punting games. Like,
so let's say, like, theoretically they get Cooper Flag. What? How would you still keep Lauri at the 3?
I would move him. I would move him to the 4
and put Flag at the 3.
Yeah,
that's because and that was one of the players. Like I said earlier, it's like, I think he originally got drafted as a 4, right? Like he was like a
Yeah,
power,
for sure.
but like they kind
Yeah,
of switched him
I
over
know
to
the
the
Bulls are salty about that one too.
100%.
Yeah,
But cool.
A-tier player though, no
Eight,
doubt.
yeah. What about DeMar DeRozan?
DeMar, bro, DeMar's been in the A-tier as well. I mean, for him to be on a new team and still contributing 19, 20 a game, I think it's a little more than that. I think
Yeah.
he's giving me like 21, 22 a game. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what? You can't really complain with that. And just for him to be able to come in here into Sacramento and be able to
22.
22. Yeah, that seems about right. Yeah, A-tier player, bro. We kind of know what DeMar is, right? Like he's always going to be able to score you the ball. We know he can't really guard too well, but that's not why you have DeRozan out there. Like you need buckets, and that's what he's been able to give us this season, and he's been doing it at a high level again. So
Consistent, bro.
Yeah, he's so consistent. He's one of the most consistent players in the NBA.
Yep. I want to see where you rank this guy, of course. Franz Wagner.
Franz was in the A tier for sure. I think you know what's crazy is like I'm glad I put JB in the S tier because he is one step above like all these other players that you've like I can kind of see like okay like yeah because I think Franz is on the cusp of, bro. He's on the cusp of becoming that S tier type of player where all NBA where it's like okay now you got Franz and Paolo to worry about because I would even say Paolo's in there for me like now like I would say he's an S tier player but that's somebody like a next generation type once in a generation type player. Franz is really turning into that honestly. So right now I'd have to put him in the A tier but if he keeps hooping like this bro he'll be right next to JB.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. Like he's on the brink, like obviously this is kind of like his coming out season, but just kind of what his trajectory and stuff. Yeah, he could definitely be in that S tier come end of the year next year type.
100%.
What about Desmond Bane?
D-Bane. I'd have to put him in the B tier.
And this is actually the last player.
Yeah, okay. B tier, just because D-Bane, there's not really like I think he's been doing the things that we know he could do. We talked about it a little bit last episode, shooting the ball, playing good offense, whatever the case may be. But he just needs to stay healthy, bro. Like at the end of the day, he just hasn't been on the court a ton since a couple years ago when he really popped off, and he was almost 50, 40, 90. So unfortunately, he's kind of been like just pretty stagnant, and he's not really again. A Zach LaVine, a Franz Wagner, like he's not able to be a focal point of your offense. So kind of like Ja is. Yeah, bro, B tier. I think that's a pretty good spot for him.
Yep. Yes, sir. I agree. So, yeah, no, that was the wrapping up of the tier list of the small forwards so far this season. We only have one player in the S tier, and a lot in the B and C tier. So. I guess it's kind of like we were saying, the small forward position is one of those. Not saying you don't need an elite wing, but it seems like a lot of the starting small forward or players that are getting the starter minutes aren't that elite.
They're role players,
right. And I feel like that is the position you could kind of like, let's go out and get Desmond Bane or Dylan Brooks, like a player that is like a good. 3-and-D type player, so it's cool seeing this, because we'll definitely look back on this probably halfway through the season, and then even at the end of the season.
I was gonna say by the All-Star break, bro, and you'll be like, oh, this is completely different.
This player is a A tier. He like regressed so much. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool to see because obviously we're only a month into, a little over a month into the season, so it's cool seeing how good these players have been so far this season. But yeah, bro. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Any closing thoughts?
Man, we got NBA Cup games tomorrow, bro, and also this Thanksgiving's coming up, so I don't know if we're not going to be coming at them live probably on Wednesday, just so we can have that day to kind of chill, but we'll still be there for the weekend and everything like that. So
yeah, for sure. I was telling you, like I'm down to shoot on Thanksgiving because I'm celebrating Thanksgiving with my family on Wednesday, and that's usually when we would
Wednesday.
shoot.
Yeah. That's you said that. Yeah, I think we can on Thursday. I just don't know when that episode will be out though.
Right.
Like
yeah.
even if we still shoot it, maybe you can get it out by Friday, but
yeah,
we can see.
Yeah, we definitely cook something up, bro. Like you said, we're trying to stay consistent for y'all for throughout this whole season, and we did this past week, and I think we could keep it up. So just trying to get this content out for y'all. Keep y'all up to date with all the hoops that's been going on. But this is a great episode, bro. Appreciate it again. Taking time out of your day.
So, yeah, and you guys, follow us on socials and tap in, with Outlier and get to betting if you want. But that's it for me, man. Another great pod.
Yes, sir.
It's awesome chopping up about hoops.
Yes, sir. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll catch y'all next time, man. Peace. Thunder up, baby.
3 man.
3 man.
So let's go.
Peace. We'll see y'all next time.